Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Gather close to the fire, breathe in the cold night air, and let the darkness settle around you and listen, not to the crackling logs, not to the shifting shadows, but to the ancient stories whispered across the frozen tundra and black Arctic skies. Tonight, we explore one of the most unsettling spirits of Inuit legend, the Qiqirn. A creature feared not for its teeth or ferocity, but for the strange stillness it drags behind it, and the shivers it plants in the bones of both dogs and men. The Qiqirn belongs to the folklore of the Inuit people who have braved the northern extremes for generations. They speak of it carefully and never loudly, because sometimes speaking a name is enough to draw a listener you didn't want. It's described as a large, spectral dog with a strange and unsettling appearance. Its body is mostly hairless, cold and pale against the snow, except for a few tufts of coarse fur lingering on its feet, its ears, its muzzle, and the tip of its tail. It is said those tufts all serve a purpose. The fur along its feet sweeps away its tracks as it walks, meaning the beast can approach a camp in absolute silence, leaving no trace, not even in the fresh snow. But its most unsettling trait isn't how it looks, it's what happens when it comes near. People, and especially dogs, are said to fall into trembling fits, violent shaking, muscles locking, eyes wide with fear, without ever seeing the creature directly. A presence you can't see, and a fear you can't escape. Yet the creatures are not invincible. It keeps its distance from one kind of person, the Inuit shaman. For reasons left to ancient belief, it flees when confronted by one who walks between the worlds of the spirit and the flesh. Stories tell of the Qiqirn lingering at the edge of human settlements, never brazen, never attacking outright. Instead, it stalks quietly, circling the warmth of fire and life while remaining just outside the reach of lantern light. Many say it hates ordinary sled dogs, perhaps because they are its own reflection in the living world, loyal, warm, and loved. It kills them when it can, not out of hunger, but out of spite. In some legends, hunters spoke of hearing their dog teams whimpering, thrashing, or falling into convulsions during the full moon, or during stretches of eerie silence when the wind itself seemed to hold its breath. When they searched for signs of a predator, they found nothing. No tracks, no blood trail, no broken harnesses, just the vast, untouched quiet of the tundra, and the uneasy feeling that someone or something was still watching. Folklore doesn't survive just because it frightens people. It survives because it explains something. Some believe the Qiqirn represents the thin boundary between the living world and the world of the spirits. The trembling fits it causes may symbolize the loss of control humans feel when confronted by the unknown, especially in an environment as harsh and unforgiving as the Arctic. Others say it's an omen, appearing when something is wrong within a community. Its arrival signals imbalance, danger, or coming hardship. Whatever its purpose, one thing is clear. The creature exists where silence grows too deep and fear becomes a shape. There is one traditional tale told around the fires on long Arctic nights. A young hunter was guiding his sled team under a sky painted with northern lights. The dogs were strong and steady, until suddenly they all froze. Their ears perked, their bodies trembled. Then, one by one, they collapsed into violent convulsions. He felt the air shift, the wind ceased, the world felt utterly still. When he turned, he saw it. Not fully, only a pale silhouette in the moonlight. A great dog, hairless, silent, and watching. Fear clawed its way up his spine as the creature began to step forward, leaving no prints behind. In desperation, the hunter called out for the village shaman who traveled with their group. The shaman emerged from the shadows, lifted his staff, and spoke a single word, Qiqirn. At the sound of its own name, the creature jolted, then bolted across the snow and vanished into the night. Moments later, the dogs began to recover, weak and shaken, but alive. The shaman placed his hand on the young man's shoulder and whispered, "When the world grows too silent, listen. The Qiqirn walks closest in silence." Maybe the Qiqirn is a warning not to wander alone in the vast frozen dark. Maybe it's a spiritual boundary marker, a reminder that humans aren't the only ones who claim the land. Or maybe it's something far older, a memory of a world where spirits, beasts, and humans walk closer together. And sometimes a line between them wasn't as sharp as it is now. Whatever it is, the Qiqirn remains one of the most unsettling creatures in Arctic folklore. not because it attacks with teeth and claws, but because it reminds us that something can be near, very near, without ever truly being seen. As we leave you here, remember, the legends of our weird world are boundless. If you've enjoyed this story, share, like, and subscribe for more eerie tales and mysteries from across the globe. Your support helps us keep these stories alive. Until next time, stay curious and watch the edges of the firelight. Sometimes silence has a presence.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.